maple syrup is sweet.
Yummy.
Out of this world. It's yum.
Absolutely delicious.
This is my father, Larry Moore. I'm Jeff Moore. We're the 7th and 8th generation on Windswept Maples Farm in Loudon, New Hampshire. And we've been doing maple in some aspects since 1780.
Sugar maple is one of the iconic species of New England. The first peoples of New England, the Native Americans, collected sap and boiled it down to produce maple sugar.
Everybody had a traditional time when they could count on the sap running. Now we can't count on that. I tapped my trees and the sap was running on February 1st. Last year the sap didn't run till April 1st. My name is Martha Carlson and you are at Rangeview Farm in Sandwich, New Hampshire. And I just recently finished a PhD studying climate change and sugar maples. I make maple syrup here at the farm with my husband Rudy, and I heard that the sugar maples are at the top of the list of trees that may be extirpated or pushed into extinction by climate change.
So climate change can affect maples in a few ways. One, just move maples out of the region. It can also have effect on tree health, and it can affect the tapping season and the sap.
Sugar maples can live 300, 400 years. So these are just young adults. I don't think that we're going to lose the sugar maple. That projection by the Forest Service was a mathematical model. And like all models, it may not come true. Trees don't die with one gunshot wound. They die after repeated assaults on them.
One thing we have here is of all our taps, I bet you probably 70% of them are red maples. And red maples grow from Canada to Florida.
Tapping red maple can be thought of as an adaptation for climate change in some sense, although we don't know how good of an adaptation it is yet.
You have to learn, you have to continue to learn, you have to keep seeking knowledge to get better at it. And I think if people are willing to do that, you know, there's a lot of people trying a lot of different stuff. It's like if you're willing to try those things and learn, you can prepare for this stuff.
So the human beings seem to be managing and even flourishing. So they're like, well, climate change, I'm okay. But what about the trees? Climate change projections are that we're going to lose 50% of all the species on planet Earth. So the sugar maple is the big polar bear species that we can see.
You know, that's what farming has usually always been about, is stewardship, you know, leaving something better off than when you got it. And that's been passed down from Dad. He got it from our grandfather. We worked with our grandfather. You know, those things just kind of get ingrained in you.
When I started working on this study in 2007, there were lots of climate deniers. The sugar producers laughed and said, ho ho, there's no such thing as climate change. So this year, I gave a talk about climate change to the New Hampshire maple producers, and no one laughed.